welcome you all to the second session of data structure. We will quickly review what we have covered in the previous session. What is data structure? Definition of a data structure. And then classification of data structure. Where this classification consists of primitive and non-primitive data structures. Where in non-primitive we saw again linear and non-linear data structures. And in the linear structures, we covered the topic called arrays. In arrays again, we have seen the definition of an array, the memory mapping of an array, the accessing of array elements, and also the disadvantages or limitations of arrays is seen. One of the limitation of an array is array can contain only homogeneous data members, or I can say homogeneous data elements. That is, an array could be only an integer array, floating point array, or character array, or string array. So with this context, this limitation of array is leading us to a next data structure called structures. So in today's session, we shall see what is structure. What is the capabilities of structure? Structure is a collection of elements where all these elements are of different data types. So what is the definition of a structure? Structure is capable to contain more than one element. Structure is capable of having more than one element, where these elements could be an heterogeneous elements. Here we shall see one sample of structure. Structure always starts with a keyword called struct, followed by a tag name or an identity. Structure name over here, we are taking it as a person, and if I am interested to hire a person, we will be curious to know his age. So int age, and the name of a person, which is an array of characters, and his number of experiences, previous experience, which could be float, 5.5 years experience, suppose if he has, so it's an experience. Structure should be always enclosed within the flower brackets, and that should be terminated with the semicolon. So this is how an example of structure looks. So with this example, we can easily write the general syntax of a structure. So the general syntax of structure goes like this. Struct is a keyword followed by a tag name, and then open the brackets, close the brackets, flower braces, and always you have to end with the semicolon. Here it can contain any number of structure members, and all these members could be of different types. Unlike arrays, where arrays contain only same type of elements, here structure is capable of having different types of elements. So data type variable 1, data type variable 2, so on we can have any number of structure members. So this is how structure is declared, and this structure of declaration of the structure will not allocate a memory. Point to be remembered, a structure declaration will not allocate a memory. When does a structure gets allocated with memory? When the structure variable is declared, then the memory gets allocated. We can take an example of int. Simply if we write int, the memory does not get allocates. When I write int a equals 10, then only the memory gets allocated. Similarly, when we declare the structure variables, then the memory gets allocates. How do we declare a structure variables? Struct keyword followed by its tag name, person, and then the structure variables. Any number of structure variables could be declared here. So this is how we declare the structure variables. On the declaration of this variable, the memory gets allocated. And now we can declare the structure variables in 3 different ways. So writing the structure declaration outside the main function and declaring the structure variable inside the main function makes these structure variables local to this particular block or local to this main function. Instead of this, if we could declare the structure member outside the main function along with the structure declaration, then these variables could be treated as global structure variables and could be used in any functions. So one type is where it is declared inside the function where it becomes local. The second type is structure variables could be declared along with the declaration of a structure where it will become global variables. The third type is using the typedef. Typedef is a keyword. Whenever we want to declare a data type of user defined data type, then we go ahead with the keyword usage called typedef. So typedef followed by its data type and then followed by it we have user defined data type. So the generic example which we see is typedef. Int is a data type which we have, and for better readability I can make this int as integer. Now instead of writing int a equals 10, I can write integer a equals 10. Both of them yields the same result. In the same lines, similar lines, we can use the typedef along with the structure also to declare user defined structure data type. So repeating again, typedef keyword is used here to declare user defined structure data type. So typedef followed by struct, we are declaring PER. Instead of writing struct person P1 and P2, this helps me to write. Similarly, I can write the similar impact is there when I write PER P1 comma P2. So both of them are accessed in the same A. So here PER is a user defined data type of type structure. So these are the 3 ways of declaring the structure variables. Now let's see the memory allocation for these structure variables. So P1 contains 3 members of the structure, that is int age, character name and experience. We are assuming over here int consumes 4 bytes of memory, character will have 1 byte of memory. Since I have taken name of 10, it is contributing for 10 bytes of memory, and float experience also has 4 bytes of memory. So P1 has a memory like this. First 4 bytes of P1 is for age, which is integer, and next 10 bytes is for name, and next 4 bytes is to store the experience of a person. So this is how memory gets allocated for the structure member P1. Similarly for P2. Suppose if this structure is starting with an address 2000, then it is 4 bytes consumed. So 2004 this starts, and then again 10 bytes, therefore it starts at 2014 to another 4 bytes 2017. This is how the memory allocation happens for these structure variables. Now let's see how to access these structure members with the help of these structure variables. For accessing, we use the dot operator, and P1 dot age is equal to 25. P1 dot name is equal to Ashok. P1 dot experience is equal to 5.8. So we are accessing these structure members with the help of dot operator. We can initialize the values for these members during the declaration of structure variable itself. Either I can write like this, or since we have already taken the type def and no more we are using struct person, we are supposed to write PER. So I am just renaming this way of declaring the structure variable. So it is PER P1. Now either I can write like this, or I can also initialize like so age is 30, name is Aman, and experience is 10.5. So either I can initialize like this, or I can initialize like this. So this is all compile time initialization. I can also read the values dynamically using the help of scanf. With the help of scanf, I can also dynamically read the values of structure members with the help of scanf. Ampersand of P1 dot age, P1 dot name, ampersand of P1 dot experience. So this is how dynamically we can read the values of structure members. Suppose instead of initializing like this, the beginners may try to initialize the values, something age is equal to 25, name is equal to Alok. If you try to initialize the values within the declaration of structure members, then this is wrong. You cannot do like that. We have to initialize these structure members outside the structure. For curiosity to know the size of the structure, what is the size of the structure now? It is 4 bytes plus 10, 14 bytes plus 4 bytes, 18 bytes. How do I know the size of the structure? I can know it in two different ways. I can print %d, size of operator, size of, I can just pass the structure variable, size of P1, or print %d, size of structure name also I can give, that is PER. So if I pass PER also, I will get the same output called 18. For the given example which we have. Next we shall move on to a topic called self-referential structures. So now we are seeing self-referential structures. What is self-referential structures? What is self-referential structure? If the structure member contains at least one of its member as a pointer, then we can call it as a self-referential structure. At least one member of the structure should be a pointer. So I can write how to create a pointer. Struct person pointer is always prefixed with a variable. When it is prefixed with a star, it becomes a pointer. So now this structure becomes a self-referential structure. See, at least one of its member is a pointer. How do we use this? How the memory gets allocated to this? So now PER1 and PER2 are the variables of self-referential structure. So to understand it better, we shall see how the memory is allocated for PER1 and PER2. So this is how PER1 gets allocated with the memory. Suppose if PER1 age equals 25 if you have given, that's gone and stored over here in this location. Then per1 dot name is Alok, then it gets stored in some place after like this, which will have 10 bytes of memory, 4 bytes, 4 bytes, and since pointer address is a hexadecimal value, but still it contributes for an integer type, and that's why even it will allocate address 4 bytes of memory. We can observe that as of now PTR1 is equal to null. Similarly, when I read a different set of value for PER2, PER2 dot age is equal to 30, PER2 dot name is equal to Aman, PER2 dot experience is equal to 10 years, 0.8, PER2 dot pointer is again is equal to null. When we read some different set of value like this, similarly to PER1, PER2 also gets allocated with the memory space. Okay, so if this has started from the if this is started from the address, base address 2000, this would be 2004 and 2014, and this would be 2018, its starting address. Okay. Similarly, PER2 will also get allocated with a memory. And this is PER2, and suppose this is starting from some address, base address called 3000, and similarly 3004, 3014 and 3018 goes on. So this tells that this particular memory is not linking to any other places, but now if at all I want, we can link this block of memory with the followed block of memory which we have PER2 address. How do we do that? So now I can make PER1 pointing to PER2. How do we do that? PER1 dot PTR is equal to PER2. So what does this do? In this particular location I am able to access with this. So PER2 has got a base address of 3000. So 3000 comes and sit in this position, and this is getting linked, able to have a flow with the next structure variable PE2. Where does this self-referential structures comes to the usage? Going ahead we will see linked list, where it is very essential to use self-referential structures. PER1 dot PTR of age, PER1 dot PTR of name, PER1 dot PTR of experience. So what will be the output of this? PER1 dot PTR of age will yield us the second PER2's age, that is 30, Aman and 10.8. Here with the help of first structure variables pointer, we are trying to access the second structure variable. Next we shall see union. Union is also a user defined data type. To declare union, we use a keyword union followed by a tag name of union, and if union has two members, int A, char B, we have to close the braces and end it with the semicolon. Like structures, here also we are supposed to declare the union variables. To access the union members A and B, I have declared a union variable called var. How to access this A and B? Var dot A is equal to 65, var dot B is equal to C. So this is how I can initialize the values. To access the union members, var dot A is equal to 65. This is how I can initialize the value for a union member. And now when I try to print the union members, what could be the output over here? Output comes something like this. "65 is fine, which we have initialized, but A is the output which we are getting. How is this possible? This is because union members will share the memory unlike the structure members, where structure members gets allocate a different memory, where union members will always share the common memory. This is how the memory allocation happens in this context. The memory sharing by the union members is seen now. Int, according to our assumption, it has 4 bytes of memory and character has got 1 byte of memory. So totally for var, if there is 5 bytes of memory get allocated, every cell contributing to single byte if you take, this is how memory gets allocated for var. 5 bytes of memory, where this is how memory gets allocated for union. It considers the member which has got largest memory. Since here integer has got largest memory, so var will be allocated with only 4 bytes of memory. So every cell, if we consider as 1 byte, when it is storing integer, it will take 4 to store 4 the whole memory. When it is storing A, it takes only 1 byte of memory. Okay, so in this context, when you have stored 65, you know the ASCII value of 65 is A. The memory is getting overlapped over here, overwritten over here. So in this context, already where I have stored the value 65, if I am trying to access the same memory location, then it is giving us the ASCII value, converting the ASCII value and outputting the character.